up, bro?
Cheer.
Sometimes, man,
Welcome to Team Lonely Child Boxing,
sometimes
keeping
I
it
got a
real
lot of
boxing,
issues.
everything boxing, baby. About to spread these links out, man. We about to get it in, baby. 1-1.
There's a difference between males and men. It's more than what we do when we pick up the pen. It's more than chasing women at the store begin. Either you in God's world or you're entangled in sin. No longer is serving, he called you his friend. Church boy style, yeah, we start the trend. Faith plus work, yeah, that's how we blend. It's time for all this backsliding to come to an end. It's time to wake up, yo, the race is on. And if you ain't with it, then please be gone. But faith is so strong that you can't diminish mine. This race is all over.
About to get it in, baby. About to get it popping.
To your heart, and don't stand still. You won't be full, you be fulfilled. Gotta keep working as a kingdom to build. So throw up your cross and hold on to your shield. I know what we're doing, it's in his will. We gotta keep working, we can't just chill. Plenty of the openest position to fill. In case you didn't know, you already paid the bill. Yeah, got my whole crew in it. Screaming one love like.
All right. Welcome to Team Lonely Child Boxing, where we keeping it real boxing, everything boxing, barbershop style, the whole nine. We got a few guests that's gonna pop on a little later, but we're not gonna keep y'all waiting. We're gonna dive right into it, man. We had a lot going on this weekend. We're gonna start it off with my man Pac-Man that came out, said Pac-Man demands $40 million for the fight with Terrence Crawford, and then they said they also in the post it said that he gets 40 million and Terrence Crawford gets 10 million and all that. All right, boxing fans, everybody, enthusiasts, those that love boxing, do me a favor, relax. Because one thing I know about Manny Pacquiao is he doesn't run his own social media platform. So the the thought of the idea of Manny Pacquiao sending that message out itself probably slim to none. Probably somebody close to him out there fished it out there just to see what could come about it. But what you see from that, it is some truth to it. It ain't all the way true, but what you do know is he is fishing for a big payday. Manny Pacquiao is basically saying, look, he's not getting in the ring unless it's worth a certain amount of money. Now that part may be true, but the other part with the only giving Terrence 10 million and all of that right there, I think all of that's a stretch. I don't think Manny said that at all. I think that there's somebody out there that's kind of working hard. As you see, he's diligently trying to find his way to get to a big fight. Or get to a big payday. First it was Earl was too slow. He'll easily beat him. People didn't really buy into that, so he didn't get that. Then he went to a fight with Ryan Garcia that was an exhibition. Then it was a real fight. Now it's no fight. Basically, what he's trying to do is he's just trying to get paid. He's 43 years old. He's just trying to get some money. He want to get a lot of money because back home in his country, he believes he's doing a lot of good with the money. Taking care of his community, taking care of his people, taking care of his government. So I'm not mad at him. Get his money. He put his work in the sport of boxing. However, but the odds of that kind of deal even happening between him and Terrence Crawford probably not going to happen. Probably going to have to happen. So for everybody that's getting upset and getting bent out of shape, you're still at square one. You're still at square one. I really don't see Manny Pacquiao and Terrence Crawford happening. I never seen that fight happening because if they was going to make that fight happen, it could have happened when they was both on Top Rank at the same time. I highly doubt that he's going to be on a whole nother platform with a whole nother promotional company and that fight still happens. And I don't know. Maybe first Terrence we got to see what Terrence Crawford says. But I seriously doubt if he's going to go for somebody getting 40 million and he's only getting 10 million. Again, what you're basically seeing is they're fishing it out there. They're fishing it out there for to see if Manny Pacquiao can get a big fight. They're fishing it out there to see if he can get a fight that's worthy of people to pay attention to, worthy that's gonna get him a lot of money. And he basically saying is, if I gotta get in the ring with somebody like Terrence or maybe Earl, $40 million is going to be it. So I get that. He'll take some millions to fight a lesser threat. But if he's going to get in the ring for with Earl or Terrence, he wants a hefty price. He wants his risk He wants his reward to match his risk. You know what it basically boiled down to. But again, but at the end of the day, for us boxing fans, that's a fight that's not gonna happen. We still at square one. You know, we still at square one. We're gonna come back to the welterweight division and what's going on there later on because, like I said, there's a lot that went on this weekend, a lot that was said, a lot that went on. They said Lomachenko is in the works for his comeback, and his opponent is, I don't want to missay it, is Mashoshi Nakatani or Nakatani. I don't want to mispronounce the young man's name, but it's not an easy fight if they make this fight. If this is Lomachenko's comeback fight, that's not an easy fight because I believe this fight is he's solid, he's tall, got long reach, got a little bit of power, and he could cause some of the same similar problems that we seen him in the ring with Teofimo. Now, no, he's not as athletic as Teofimo, and he doesn't. I don't think he hits as hard as Teofimo, but he does possess a size, length, reach problem that Lomachenko may have. So I mean, it's not like it's a solid opponent for him to come back to. So we'll definitely see if Lomachenko is still the same, if he lost a step, is he where's he really at in his fight game and his career? Because like I said, he's coming back to a solid opponent. I believe it's a tough opponent. I don't think it's an easy fight at all, and I don't look at this as really a keep busy fight. This is more of a let me see where you at. Are you really at this championship level? Because I think Lomachenko needs to be mentioned as a player and should be a player in the sweepstakes that's at 135. He definitely should be one of the people that's alive wire in that division because he was once regarded just not too long ago as the best fighter in boxing. So to just usher him to the side and out the way and throw him, to the wolves as if he's not if he's not a true test for anyone is not right. So I believe that let him have this fight, have this comeback fight that he's having. But again, it's not going to be no walk in the park. It's definitely a tough fight, definitely a fight worth paying attention to because again, like I said, the guy he fighting, he got a nice size to him, nice movement, nice jab. I'm not really sold on his power, but I think his size and his length, because it looks like that ever since Lomachenko's been fighting these taller, bigger fighters, his work rate and his ability to get inside and his wanting to get inside, you know what I'm saying, and get in with these bigger fighters, it's kind of not there. You know what I'm saying? Ever since he got knocked down by Linares, he hasn't been as eager to get inside. He hasn't been as eager to mix it up with these bigger guys. You know what I mean? So and they putting him right back in the ring with another guy that's kind of got a nice size advantage. He won against Luke Campbell, but he didn't exactly blow Luke Campbell out the water. It was a pretty nice fight with him and Luke Campbell. It was kind of tough up for the most part of the fight. You know what I mean? So and then he wasn't able to really to get inside like he wanted to with Teofimo Lopez. So again, one, it's just great to see that Lomachenko is about to be back in the ring. But again, like I said, it's not going to be no walk in the park, not going to be no easy fight. I think this guy's going to cause a lot of problems for Lomachenko. So like I said, his next fight is definitely worth tuning into. It's definitely something worth paying attention to because this could be his way back into the mix, or it could be his way out to usher himself out of the sweepstakes of that 135-pound division, man. But I mean, let's just see what he got. Let's see what he do. Teofimo Lopez sounded off on the rest of the pack. He said some pretty strong words, basically saying all the rest of the fighters, Devin Haney, Tank, Ryan Garcia, all need to step their game up. They all got to do more. They need to fight bigger fights and need to do more in order to be, to get to where he's at and all that. And a lot of people are gonna look at Teofimo and say, man, you lunching, you getting the big head and all that. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say right here now, I didn't see him tell no lies. To me, it's not the fighter's fault. I'm not blaming Devin Haney. I'm not blaming Tank. I'm not blaming Ryan Garcia. But Teofimo's right. Teofimo Lopez, not on purpose. See, I don't think Bob Arum really tapped into what he had with Teofimo, and he's just now realizing what Teofimo is. But he did take a much rugged road than the rest of the fighters. He fought more championships, fights than the rest of them. He's already practically a unified, almost undisputed champion at the weight class that they're all trying to compete in. His track record is better than theirs at this moment. He fought the pound for pound best Lomachenko. He knocked out a highly rated champion, Richard Comey, who just was successful in his comeback fight. So Teofimo has a right to beat his chest and talk his talk right now, because until the rest of them have these type of moments and these type of fights, they got to step up to the plate. Now, at the same time, that does not give him a right not to fight them. It doesn't give him a right not to fight them. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see where he goes from here and see what happens with him. But yes, Teofimo has a right to talk his talk. I'm not even gonna be like all the rest of the people that's like, trying to go on him and say things to him and say things about him. I think Teofimo has a right to say what he's saying. You know what I mean? He's definitely earned the right to be to talk his talk. You know what I mean? He's definitely fought the better fighters. He's definitely fought more champions. I mean, like I said, who knows at the end of this who we're gonna say who's the actual best at 135 till they fight each other. They do need to do like a round robin or a super six or something like that to do it, because we got to listen. Boxing fans, we just want good fights. We just want good fights. We want big fights. We want fights that we all can get around to and just watch. So I mean, like I said, Teofimo has the right to say the things that he said because he didn't tell no lies. He is the number one guy right now. He is the guy that's doing it right now. So he has the right to talk what he's talking. But at the same time, like I said, we still want to see him versus Devin Haney. We still want to see him versus Ryan Garcia. We definitely want to see him versus Tank. Let's get it. You know what I mean? He has the right to say he's the man right now because he is the man right now. He's done what he needed to do in order to make himself, the number one guy out of the rest of them. So let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and see where this leads to. But definitely, Teofimo Lopez has the right to talk his talk. Now, the next hot topic that everybody's going off about is, uh, Andre Ward. Andre Ward came out and said in a fight with Canelo, he would win. And I was thinking that maybe that's what he's saying is loaded. Maybe he's secretly telling everybody that he may come back for a Canelo fight. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'm wishful thinking because Andre Ward, I would like to see Andre Ward back in the ring. So I mean, but at the same time, if a fight like that was to take place, there's no doubt in my mind he didn't tell no lies. I think that Andre Ward would definitely outbox, outclass, and do whatever he got to do to beat Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, he's a great fighter. He's the best right now, but he hasn't seen anything like an Andre Ward in his life. You know what I'm saying? It's like Andre Ward to me is like a big Floyd. It's a bigger version of Floyd. He's not Floyd. There's only one Floyd, but he's a version of Floyd. You know what I mean? He has the athleticism, he has the speed, he got that dog in him, and he's definitely not somebody that you take lightly. So to me, I think, that spells an all-night nightmare for Canelo. And I think Canelo's at the point in his career where a fight with Andre Ward and things like that, would be a good fight. Ugas versus Thurman. Right now, I'm going to skip topics because right now at the 147-pound division, we have no idea what they're doing down there. So I mean, we don't know what fights are going to get made, what can be made. They're trying to figure out what Manny Pacquiao is going to do. Then once they figure out what Manny Pacquiao is going to do, they got to figure out what Earl Spencer's going to do. What we do know is none of them are fighting each other right now. So Ugas and Thurman might happen, but I'm gonna go with Ugas. I'm gonna go with Ugas. I think he's hungrier than Thurman right now. I think he's hungrier than Keith Thurman. I don't think that I mean I gotta see more from Keith Thurman. I mean from what we've seen from Keith Thurman since that Danny fight, we've seen a 2-year layoff. We've seen him struggle with Josito Lopez, and then we've seen him get beat by Manny Pacquiao. So I need to see more. I need to see him come back with. He's saying he wants these fights, so I want to see him come back with the same fire, the same desire, the same grit. and everything that he had when he first got the titles. But I mean, ever since then, we haven't got that from him. So right now, I'm going with Ugas. I'm going with Ugas. Ugas said he ready to fight whoever. He want all the smoke. He said he'll fight Terrence, he'll fight Earl, he'll fight Manny, he'll fight whomever. Ugas just want to get it in. So I'm not mad at Ugas right now. So Ugas got it, just want to fight anybody, and that would be a good fight for him. But I think everybody's still waiting to see what Manny gonna do. And then we're gonna see who Earl gonna do. Ugas might end up fighting Earl, so we don't know what's gonna happen. But I still like that fight though. I like that fight with him and uh him and Thurman. You know what I mean? Uh oh. What up? What up? What up? What up? Bringing into the fold right now. The CEO team, only child, man. What's going on with you?
Yeah, give me a
What's
second.
got
Hey, how
going
you
on
doing?
over there? Huh?
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on with you? All right, we're gonna
Uh,
take it to the top. We're gonna take it from the top with you.
yeah,
Teofimo has some strong words for the rest of the 135 pounders, basically saying, they need to step their game up. He earned his spot. They ain't fought enough top fighters. He went down the list. He went man by man. He started with Ryan Garcia, then he went to Tank, then he went to Devin. He said all of them need to step their weight up, man. He the big fish. They need to step it up. And to me, I hate to say it, I ain't seen no lies told. What you say about that?
man, that's a tough one there. I never expected. Before the Lomachenko fight, Teofimo was willing to do a lot, and after the Teofimo fight, he was willing to take on those guys. So, it shocked me to see what he was willing to, what he said, when Joe Tessitore basically just, went down the list. Ryan Garcia, he just, in a sense, I, I don't see a fighter who is in tune to their legacy not willing to fight those guys. How can you turn away from fighting Lomachenko and then say you don't want to fight Ryan Garcia? You don't want to fight Devin Haney. You don't want to fight Tank. So I don't understand. You were willing to fight Lomachenko, but you could fight a Tank. You could fight a Devin Haney. You could fight a Ryan Garcia for much much well over the amount, triple the amount that you got for Lomachenko. So I think that there's a lot of things there that we don't know about, or there's some type of some type of how I could say they're a little hesitant about something. I would say, and once again, I don't know. That's just my perspective of it. Fighters take their time, and I guess maybe he did see something in his game that he wants to sit back and maybe reevaluate for another couple more fights. So, we as fans, we want to see him jump right in, but it's all up to him at the end of the day. So, I hopefully after this fight, maybe he'll take on one of those guys. But I would say that division needs a Super Six, man.
Yeah, I just
I'm
say
looking for a Super Six. I think that th- throw 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 the names in the hat, and whoever comes out, guess who fights? Because it's sickening to see that these guys, are saying this or saying that, and the promoters are allowing them to do it. Listen, let a network come together. They all need to come together. Let's make these fights happen. Let's keep this sport alive. Let's keep things going. Let's force these guys to have to fight each other, and then we'll really see who is the man. Take away the shenanigans of what they say in interviews, and let's make a Super Six. I think we need a Super Six we need it in the 126 division. We need it in the 130 division. We need it in the 147 division for sure, and we need it at 168. So let's go with these Super Six. Let's line up at least. I would say let's line up at least 6 to 8 fighters. in the Super Six, and let's carry that on the next 4 or 5 years.
All right, real quick. I didn't take it. I didn't take it as he was trying to like get out the fight. I agreed with him. I thought that what he said was dead on. Basically, what he's saying is he established himself as the guy. He want them to do the same thing to make the fight bigger. Now, of course, we as fans, we want the fight right now. You know what I mean?
But whether you say they're internet fans or not, or whether these guys have a fan base. These guys have money behind them. So I don't understand. Like, if you're fighting, I'm not wasting my time on fighting somebody for $1 million when I can fight somebody for 4, or when I can fight somebody for 10 million. Why am I wasting my time fighting on a guy for $1 million? It just doesn't make sense. Not unless there is some underlying reason that we don't know about. So my whole thing is, I'm fighting for money. That's the whole reason why I'm there. I'm not fighting for my health at this point in life for himself. He's fighting for money. So if he's fighting for money, why wouldn't I want to take on the guys that's going to give me the paydays? But also, in his defense, I'm going to say this. I think that boxing is too critical on these fighters. I think that these fighters lose and we write them off. That's not fair. Styles make fights. We don't know what's going to happen from fight to fight, or if this fighter fight this fighter, what's going to happen. I think one or two fights, we're ready to write this fighter over for the rest of his life, and that's wrong as the perspective of boxing. We don't do that for UFC. These guys have 4 or 5 losses, and they have great fights against each other, and they're being promoted in a great way. So why are we so critical against fighters, and why are these fighters being pushed behind 2 or 3 years? I mean, that's the great thing about PBC. Whereas you got guys like let's say Adrian Broner, who has lost fights, came back and won a championship in his next fight. So I think it's a lot of variables there. We could sit here all day and say, hey, is this, is that? But I just think if they bring the Super Six, it kills all the nonsense.
All right, hold on. Let me answer this one comment. It says he's not undisputed, and he has a smaller fan base. He wants to sit on the bench for a while. I'm not to me. I understand what you just said, because what you said is dead on. But I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think he's afraid of any of them. I don't believe none of these fighters are scared of each other. I think that listen, this is how it goes with the landscape of boxing. It's a chain, but this is how it is. Once I established myself as a champion, and I feel that I established myself as somewhat a star, now I want to get paid. That's what they all doing. They all playing the same game.
What's wrong with that?
But see, people see what
everybody has a different road they go down. Regardless of what you think, everybody goes down a different road. It's not up to you to say, hey, because this guy's not fighting who, or he's not fighting that he's not a credible fighter. It's not up to any. It's not even up to Teofimo to say that. And I love Teofimo dearly. He's a well of a good guy, but it's not up to you to say, okay, because this guy didn't fight XYZ, he's not a credible fighter. Look, the time is to fight this guy. He's here, he's in front of you, and he's in front of you with a belt. Or this guy's in front of you with a name. Say the ones who don't have a belt, they have a name. At least, and here's the thing. If he demanded 10 million for Tank, he would get that. But you would spend $1 million to fight a fighter? Like, it doesn't. At the end of the day, I understand all the variables, but some of them I don't understand, because some of them just don't. They just don't make sense.
Hey, the way you busted that down, I regress. I'm gonna give you that. You got that all. All right. So next topic we're gonna move to is Lomachenko got a comeback fight coming up against. I don't want to mispronounce the young man's name, but Masa Shoti Nakatani or something.
Oh, Nakatani, yeah, Nakatani.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that's no what you would call no keep busy or fight anyway. I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Lomachenko.
For sure. I agree. Well, I saw Nakatani fight Teofimo at the MGM Grand. Didn't know much about the fighter, but he gave Teofimo, I would say, all that he wanted. We were known for Teofimo to come in and do and knock and knock the guy out. He had to go 12 rounds. It was a tough fight. They had different scenarios in the fight where one was getting the edge and the other one what wasn't doing so well. I do think that Tiafimo edged him out in the fight, but also I think Nakatani makes it interesting fight for Lomachenko. This will be a test to see where Lomachenko really is. I don't know if he wants to take that fight. He might avoid that fight. I think that they was wrong for Lomachenko not to have. I can't really say on it because once again I don't know. We're just speculating. I think it was wrong for him not to have a rematch clause in that fight with Tiafimo. I would love to see him fight Tiafimo next. I just think that every champion is and all of the accomplishments that Lomachenko has made, I think that he's so worth and worthy of having a second chance to see if he can reign on top again. I would say as Tiafimo that, hey man, if you're gonna be a part of holding a great legacy, that it's within your grace to get this guy a rematch. And I mean, if you say you are as good as you say you are, then why not give him a rematch?
Well, look at it like this.
Your next fight.
He didn't put a rematch clause in there because they didn't give Tiafimo much of a shot to win the fight. But at the same time,
and I think that was wrong on him. But also, let's play devil advocate here. He didn't give him that, but also he did give something. He gave him an opportunity to fight him because he shared the purse with him. So there is some give and take.
Fact.
We might not all get it all, but there's some give and take. So at this point, it's time for Tiafimo to give something back, and giving back is giving that rematch.
I mean, honestly, I think he's doing Tiafimo. He's doing Lomachenko a favor. But I mean, he's earned that rematch. But let me say this though, this dude, not a Taki. I don't want to keep saying his name wrong. I mean, I would not be surprised if when this fight gets made, I would be surprised if he beat Lomachenko. I would not.
I wouldn't disagree with you on that. This guy's he's a tough competitor. I saw him fight the last fight. I think he fought Felix Verdejo. He beat Verdejo in a tough, gritty match. So Verdejo had already had a loss, and he was basically, Verdejo at one time was one of the top prospects, and he needed to win, but he edged Verdejo out, which I couldn't really argue that Verdejo had lost that fight. So from seeing that fight and then from watching him fight Tiafimo, Nakatani is he's definitely solid on my list. I think guys like Tank, Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney, those guys are not calling out those names. They're not calling out the names like Nakatani. They're not calling out the names like Richard Comey. They're all searching, and I get it. This is what Tiafimo was saying. Fight some more credible fighters at 135, and then I'll fight you. I understand that point, but if the money's here, this is what we're here for. I don't want to wait. If I'm 22, 23, 24 years old, I don't want to wait till I'm 30 to get the money. I want to get the money now. 30's not promised to me, or my health's not promised to me by the time I'm 30. So let's get these fights on now. They're materializing now. The fans want to see them. Come on, I'm rooting for the Super Six, man.
All right. Speaking of money, it came out that a report came out that Pacquiao said he wants $40 million, and they're gonna offer Terrence Crawford $10 million. I'm gonna regurgitate what I said earlier. For those that don't know, Manny Pacquiao does not run his social media platform. I believe somebody connected to him may have posted that, but I don't think he posted it. You know what I mean? I think he's doing the same thing he's been doing this whole time. He's fishing. He's fishing to see what big fight or big money he can land for the least amount of risk. And what he's saying is, by them saying that is, I'll get in the ring with Earl or Terrence, but it's gonna cost. See what I'm saying? He'll go ahead.
Well, look at who Pacquiao is. He can demand that. He's done enough in the sport to demand $40 million, if not more. I think that Terrence can't demand $40 million. So if you're saying he's fishing, why not? Why wouldn't I? If I know that I'm a legend, I know that I only have a few more fights left. Right. I'm going to definitely fish for the right fights. So I think he's in a great position. I don't see anything wrong with him doing what he's doing, and I don't see anything wrong with demanding that purse. He's Manny Pacquiao, so um, I agree with it. And also Terrence is willing to take the fight. I didn't see where he wasn't willing to take the fight, because I think this will be the biggest payday for Terrence, and I think in Terrence's situation, he needs that fight too. I mean, I think these fighters fighting for 1.5, 2, 3 million. I just think that's just such an unjust. It's so unfair. How critical the sport is and what is laid on the line. These guys shouldn't be fighting for that little bit of money. I mean, we can say it's a lot because we don't have it, but at the end of the day, the risk that these fighters take and what their family is going to face, even if this fighter, and let's just say, and I don't wish this on anybody, but $1 million for a fight, and this guy, goes in a coma, or he's not able to take care of his family anymore, was it really worth $1 million? It's not. And it's not even worth 10 million. It's not even worth 20 million. But to say these fighters are getting paid 1.5 million, we call out fights 1.1 million. Muhammad Ali was making 1 million 40 years ago. So why is these fighters only making 1 million now when things have changed in this time zone? I just think that's crazy, man. It's so unfair. It's unfair to the sport. It's unfair to fighters. These fighters, there needs to be some type of cap, some type of control on, what happens here. I just think the money that these fighters are getting, it causes the riffraff of what we are seeing. And that is the reason why they're fighting, or they're not willing to take the gamble or take the risk. And I can't argue with that. So when we say whatever Teofimo's saying or whatever Pacquiao is saying, I agree with everything they're saying because of the risk they're taking. And if you're going to lowball me, then it's not worth it.
I hear you. And all I'm saying is the only issue I got with what he's doing is this: is that right now, like we're gonna get back to that later, but right now the 140-pound division is all over the place. We got everybody's available.
What would you say, 140 or 135?
147. Like 147, everybody's available. Everybody's available.
So why are no fights being made?
That's the problem. See,
and you talk about Ugas and Earl Spence.
Everybody's available though. Listen, Terrence is available, Manny's available, Earl's available, Ugas is available,
Thurman's available.
Thurman is available, Mikey Garcia is available. It's there.
Yeah. So why aren't fight? And that's what I'm saying. They need a Super Six, man. Let's all those names you name, throw a hat in the bag, and let's get on this Super Six. I think I don't know why they're such against Super Six. I think I can't say why. I'm pretty sure there's a multitude of different reasons why, but that's what we need to see. This sport needs to see these fighters fight each other, and we don't want to wait until something happens or until years later. I would say in years later, give other fighters a chance. 5 years later, I'm looking for someone else, for someone new at 21, not to be shopping around to see if these guys fight. 5 years from now, I'm looking for Earl Spence to say, hey, man, I'm calling it quits, just because of the nature of the sport and the wear and tear that it puts on your body. So I don't want to wait around to see them fight 5 years. I want see these guys fight now while they're in their prime, while there's no excuses to be made.
Right. So recently, Andre Ward was talking to Max Kellerman, and he asked about Canelo Alvarez, and the question came up was, could he beat Canelo Alvarez? And of course, Andre came out and said that he's definitely could beat Canelo Alvarez. So I just want to know what you think about it. If they could, and I was also hoping that maybe that's a sign that maybe he's going to come back. But then even at the same time, I think a fight between Canelo and SOG is definitely. I'm going with SOG. But what you think on that?
Man, I think Andre Ward needs to stop, man. Either he's going to he just need to stop playing with us. He's going to take the opportunity. Last time I talked to Andre Ward, I did get a chance to see him at the MGM Grand, and I mentioned to him that I had missed watching him, and he basically was saying he was retired, he was done. But I have seen on IG a few times that he is training, or he maybe exercising the thought of coming back. I would say that if he jumps in there right now to fight Canelo, I wouldn't want to see that. I would, fighting Canelo would have to materialize in, I think, when over maybe a year and a half for Andre Ward. I would like to see him do maybe a tune-up fight, 1 or 2. I wouldn't like to see him just jump in there and fight Canelo right away. So I think him knowing that that may be a risk factor there. I don't think him coming right out right now in the fight Canelo would be a good thing to do. Not saying that he can't beat him, just saying that that wouldn't be good. I mean, of course, I'm Andre Ward all the way, but he would, and I think he knows that. We also know that Andre Ward, he has his rhythm, and the rhythm. He stepped out there and fought Kovalov. Come from a long layup and fight Kovalov, but I just think Canelo's a little different. And if he's going to do it, take a few tune-up fights, maybe 1 or 2, and then go ahead and do it. But I would love to see that fight.
I think he beats Canelo. I think Canelo is I think he'll have all kinds of problems with Andre's speed, Andre's athleticism, and then Andre will flat out come get you. You know what I mean? He's just
no, I just think he has problem with the intellect. I think it's a different intellect there as far as fighters. I think Andre knows the difference of when to counter, when not to counter. He knows how to create a different chess game that Canelo probably hasn't seen, maybe since Floyd Mayweather. Hasn't seen since Floyd. So it just all depends. It just all depends. But I take Andre, but I don't want to see him fight right out. And he's
of course, I think he'd be, and even he's smart enough not to do that.
Yeah.
Even he's smart enough not to do that. You know what I mean? We landed questions from different angles right now.
Okay. Definitely. We want to entertain the questions. We're here for you guys, and we hope you guys are here for us. So definitely, we can make them get to the questions. I'm willing to ask them, or I'm willing to give my take on it.
Okay. Says, hey, Lonely Child, question: if HBO was still in the game of boxing, do you think most of these big fights, Crawford, Spence, Fury, Joshua, Canelo, Charlo, etc., since they got out of the game, big fights aren't happening now? You know what I mean?
I agree. I do agree. I think we're missing out on what HBO had to offer. I don't really know what happened as far as that entity of why they stopped. I'm sick of seeing what's going on now and it's being allowed. I think HBO did pose a certain value there that of fights that we are definitely missing. So I agree with you, definitely.
I don't agree with that. I think HBO sealed their own fate.
How would you say that? Why would you say that?
Okay, HBO picked the side. When the Cold War was going on, HBO picked the side. They decided to side with Bob Arum and the Top Rank side of business and pushed Al Heyman and Floyd them out the way. That's why they went to Showtime and inked the deal. That's what happened. And then,
well, I mean, there's some variables there because also, I forget his name, but one of the head guys of HBO, he left and went to Showtime. So that also, with guys go with who they feel comfortable with. So if one of the big guys left HBO and went over to Showtime, so gradually that's just like you at a job and your manager leave and you're cool with him. Of course, you're going to want to go with him. I just think this is all about relationships. I think that the money is there. It's just who's in control of the money or who the money is going to. It's a lot of fighters out here. It's a lot of fights to be made. Just think of the fights that aren't being made. If HBO could make those fights, or if just Showtime could make those fights, there are a lot of fights that we talk about all the time that aren't being made, and it's just nonsense behind why they aren't being made. But and I'm not speaking negatively on any entity or any variable or any network. So I want to put that out first of all. I just would wish that for the sport of boxing and for the legacy and what boxing has give to the world and to the people, let's make this happen once and for all. Let's stop all of this. Just back and forth. These guys have great skills. Let's put these skills levels together for any network and let's see it. That's why I said Super Six, man. Every division needs a Super Six.
Yes, they do. No, that's not a debate. I was just speaking to the fact that HBO kind of put themselves in that predicament because you got to think about something. What a lot of people missed out is this. At one point in time, HBO had Floyd, Pacquiao, Top Rank, Matchroom. Everybody was under that umbrella. Wasn't hardly nobody over on Showtime, but maybe Don King fighters. So they had everybody, but they chose to push Floyd them out the door, thinking that these other people.
Well, just like I said, we speculating. We don't really know what happened. Of course, like I said, we do know that, and I forget his name. Floyd chose to go with one of the head honchos over there at HBO. And he chose the league to go to Showtime. So, but come on, man, let's still believe that HBO was first. Before, in my day and time, it was CBS. It was just ABC. There was no cable at the time. But when cable came about, HBO was the top kahuna. HBO has put on some iconic, epic fights. Man, we are missing those times because once, and when you talk about one fighter, if Floyd leaves, there are so many other fighters. I don't understand why we keep talking about Floyd all the time.
No, what happened, listen, at one point in time, Matchroom, which is Eddie Hearn, which at the time was ran by his father, Matchroom, Top Rank, and which what is now PBC, they was all under the same umbrella. But HBO did push Al Heyman and them out the door once they left.
Listen, it's not up to me to say whether they did or they didn't.
They did.
But what I'm saying is they chose to leave. And I get what you're saying. And ESPN, you know what? To be honest, I think the Cold War is with the networks. I think, those networks don't want to work with each other for whatever reason. And it's killing the variables of the fights that we could have in the sport. I'm kind of sick of it because I see the UFC. There's only one UFC. So UFC there's no other network. So there's no other promoter. There's no other nothing. It's just UFC. So you have to follow UFC. I think if boxing was under that same umbrella, then maybe we will get the fights we want. Maybe we will get the fan base that we want. Right now, we're stuck with dealing with all these entities and all these shenanigans and hearing these fighters pick who they want to fight, when they don't want to fight. And it's just killing the sport. It's killing the morale. And at the end of the day, what they're doing, and I'm just going to put this out there. What they're doing, they're killing the hopes for other fighters that's coming along. You have my son that I don't want his dreams killed because these fighters aren't making the fights. If there's a legacy that was out there, these guys had trilogies. You had guys at 147. And I would say this once again. You had the Rands, you had the Beast Mugabe, you had the Hagglers, you had the Sugar Ray Leonards, you had the Hearns. All these guys fought each other, and some of these guys fought in trilogies, and we can't even get one fight. So for the people, I would think that all of this is done for the people because with the people and we as fans, we need to talk more. We need to say more. The people are power. We're the ones that are making this happen. So I just don't know, man. I just wish that we didn't have this Cold War. I wish it didn't exist. But I'm like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't, I know that there was something going on, but come on, man. Let's say HBO had some epic, iconic fights at the time. Come on, I remember all the HBO fights that uh Riddick Bowe had. I remember Riddick Bowe signed a sick contract with HBO for like 6 fights for over $100 million. It was crazy, but those are the times that we miss that we are longing for. So, to answer his question, man, I agree. I wish that HBO was still around. I wish that it wasn't a lot of variables there that we don't know of.
Hey, do you think that the fighters take responsibility in some of this too, because they could take more of a stand and X out the promoters in them and just say, hey man, I'm gonna fight you. You know what I'm saying? Just take the control away from the promoter, because I mean, hey, if you want to fight that person, then you make it happen. That's just like when they said Canelo. Oscar didn't want Canelo to fight Floyd, but Canelo wanted that fight. So Canelo went on with the fight, and they made it happen. But Oscar was totally against him fighting Floyd. So I think it's some responsibility with the fighters to just take the promoters out of it. If you want to fight that man, then just go fight that man, and don't care about what the promoter got to say about it.
So for one, I don't disagree with you, but let's take it from the top of who Canelo is. Canelo doesn't need anybody. Some of these fighters, they need promoters to exist. So Canelo could fight Boo Boo the Fool and get 30,000 people.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Canelo don't need nobody now.
Yeah, now.
Ho. We only talking about now. I mean, before.
I was talking in general. Don't you think
that
the fighters should take?
Well, hold on. Let me finish.
I agree.
Let me finish. Also, the power is in the people. So it's us. Say for instance, and I'm gonna call it our black race. If we would patronize our fighters more, we might get more fights. The power is in the people. The power is in the numbers. I keep saying all the time, and I said this on the last podcast, if everybody wants to stream and illegally stream shit and not pay for the fight, that's not helping the fight. Even if I can illegally stream the fight, I'm still gonna pay for the fight, because why? I'm a student of the game. And I think mentally, just say, for instance, and let's talk about a race standpoint. If you take the Mexican fighter like Canelo, his people they're gonna spend their check money. They're gonna spend their rent money to go see Canelo fight. Our people won't do the same. So the power is in the people. So yeah, some of it is on the fighter standpoint, but some of it is on the people. A lot of fighters, a fighter can't dictate anything if he don't have the people behind him. And a lot of it is on us as people.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. It's some fighters that's just, they don't put themselves out there enough and market themselves out there enough for them to even be people, a fighter of the fans, or people's, what they would say, people's champion or something like that. A lot of these guys, they just fighters. They don't look at the element of professionalism and try to bring the marketing strategy. Man,
hold on.
As a fighter.
Some of it shouldn't be all on the fighters too. So we're like, and I said this once again, we're missing the Don King days. Whereas, they said a lot of things about Don this and Don that, but Don paid the guys. He paid them. He paid those guys. And not only that, Don put the people in the stands. So there's a protocol there that's missing from maybe Top Rank or from Matchroom, PBC, or I mean, and like I said, I'm speculating, but also I can see it takes work from all entities. So it's just not. It's everybody. The promoter,
It
the
does,
fighter,
but Don
and
had
the people.
special. Don had special. I mean, just say for instance, Ali. Ali was, I mean, outside of boxing, he was a charismatic figure. You know what I'm saying? So Don ain't had to do much to get people to come gravitate towards watching an Ali fight because Ali was the product, just his character
It's
outside
funny
of
that
boxing.
you say that
He
because
was,
also at that time Bob Earn was a part of that. A lot of people don't know Bob Earn was the manager of Don King. I mean, of Ali during that time.
yeah.
So it's a lot of history there. So it's funny to say, it's funny to see boxing and how it's unfolding now, and the reason why things are unfolding. Like you missed, we were talking, and I was mentioning that all this would change if they did a Super Six. Every division needs a Super Six. You got these fighters just saying, listen, I love Teofimo. I would never want him to think that I'm saying anything negative, but bro, come on, bro. I mean, if you want to be part of your legacy, what you said there, I you
He told the
you
truth.
hurt me in a
He told the
sense.
truth.
I was
He
not
told the
looking for
truth.
him. I mean, regardless if it's right or wrong, I understand his point on it. But come on, bro. You before you took this fight with Lomachenko, you were calling these guys out, or you were willing to fight them. Right after you took this fight with Lomachenko, you were willing to fight them. Don't say you're not willing to fight them or they need to step their game up. Come on, man. It's not up to him to say these guys aren't credible. They are there. Whether you say they're internet fighters or whatever you say, they are there.
They are there.
They are there.
Go through
Tank
them.
is there.
Go
Teofimo, Devin Haney is there.
Go through the
Brian
division.
Garcia is there.
That's why.
Fight him.
That's why the Super Six tournament that Andre Ward and all of them was in. Man, I got so much utmost respect for Andre Ward because, man, he is the one fighter that I can say outside of maybe I'm gonna say Ray Leonard without a Super Six that I saw that went in a division and basically just wiped out the whole division. Andre Ward eliminated his whole division. I mean, he beat everybody that was in that division that you could have said, hey man, this person might beat Andre Ward. He took a tournament, and then after the tournament, he went on to fight not a Kelly Pavic, but Pascal, all of them guys. He fought all of them guys.
He fought
Kovalev, he fought him twice. What's the other guy? The other black guy, not Pascal, but the other one that was knocking people out at that time. The other
Are you talking about Chad Dawson?
Chad Dawson. He fought Chad. I mean, he fought everybody. He basically cleaned the whole division. I've never seen a fighter do that outside of Ray Leonard going through everybody that he went through in his time. But he wiped out a whole division. Pretty much.
That's why Ward is our man. That's why Ward is my man.
Yeah,
that's why he is my man.
Respect SOG, man, for that because
I've never love you, SOG. Love you, man.
Why you excited?
Up and take a challenge like that.
Well, why you excited? SOG also came out and recently said that in a fight with Canelo that he will beat him and all that. And I was hoping that that's a sign that he might be trying to come back. But I'm just me wishful thinking. But him versus Canelo, who wins and why?
All right, the elephant in the room right there is the time gap from which he's been out. You know what I'm saying? So the time gap from which he's been out, if that doesn't play a part in it, I will go with SOG, hands down. If that time frame from him not fighting, because Canelo's still been active and him not, so that's the only thing. How much ring rust would be on Andre Ward in this fight? I still, because I am a big SOG fan and I love what he does. I love all his attributes in the ring, and I just feel like pound for pound, he's on Mount Rushmore to me, one of the top elite fighters that's ever fought, man. That they don't speak, that they try to just don't even really place him in there. But man, you got to. He undefeated just like Floyd. He cleaned the whole division. I mean, he up there, man. Hasn't lost since God knows how long. So
I mean, I think he owes us something too. I think Andre Ward, he walked away too early, and he knows that. I think, you know, to be a part of his legacy that he has existing, you know, I think he owes us that comeback maybe, or, you know, I would like to see something. But if, you know, if he walks away from here and never comes back, you know, I still have the respect for him. But yeah, I do agree.
I think he wins though over Canelo.
So I'm gonna ask you something, because I know somebody will bring this up for what you just said. What was your decision on that first Kovalev fight? Be completely honest.
Andre Ward won.
You thought he won?
Yeah.
You thought he won?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot closer than the second.
Well, he stopped him in the second fight.
Yeah.
In the second fight.
I mean, but he was just beating him down in the second.
I'm gonna be honest. The first fight, I would have called it a draw, or I'd have gave it to Kovalev. That's a fact. And I'm an SOG diehard.
Well, I went to that fight. I was there personally at the fight. I was ringside that night, because I wanted to see, and it's sad she hasn't gave us an interview, but I wanted to see Franchon fight Caressa Shields. I actually missed that fight, trying to get into the fight. So I would say that he knocked Andre Ward down in that fight. I think that was like the second round.
Right.
From what I saw in the fight, after the second round, he had no answer for Andre Ward.
He did.
He had some success in maybe the first round, you know, and we all know Andre is a slow starter, or it takes him time to figure out. I don't see Andre winning. I don't see Kovalev winning that fight at all. He had no answer for it. He frustrated Kovalev from the second round on. So, you know, like, hey, you are open to feel the way you do, but I just think he edged him out. I just think he didn't have an answer for him. After the second round, he made all the adjustments he needed to make. I recall myself saying that I was definitely, you know, I hadn't seen him fight in a long time. I was saying that I was definitely going to go out and see that fight. Hurry up, and I had no ticket at all. I didn't know was it sold out or what. I just hopped on the plane, went out there by myself, and you know, I end up getting in a fight and was ringside that night. So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that he, you know, I can see where you're saying it's close. I can see where you're saying that it could be a draw. But to me, Andre won that fight.
Here's my thing. I would have called it a draw. Because to me, he did make the adjustments and make Kovalev very uncomfortable. He did bring the fight to him, and Kovalev definitely was looking for a way just to make it to the 12. That's factual. But I didn't see where my man did enough clean work to take the title.
Well, that's why he had the second one, because he wanted to take all of the he wanted to take all the doubts and say, hey, this guy, you know, because that's what everybody was saying.
Hey, I think he knew that. So that's why he had the second fight.
And in the second fight, he just wiped him out. There was a no Moss.
Hey, look, that's just like Mayweather and your boy back in the day, what's that, Castillo? Yeah. Same thing. The first fight was close. Some people thought Castillo won. The second fight, Floyd made sure, without a doubt, man, I'm gonna kick his ass in this fight.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
go to some comments real quick, because I don't want to go away.
I'm looking at it. We had an upset this weekend. Josh Warrington got knocked out by Law. I can't pronounce his first name. It began with an M. But I want to say
Law. I know you're talking about.
He knocked Josh Warrington out. I mean, he was rocking him throughout the whole night. You know, Josh Warrington was looked to be a big fight for Shakur
Yeah,
at one point in time, and he was
yeah.
actually offered the Gary not too long ago. And this weekend, he got knocked out. In the,
Man, I listen. It's not up to me to say what's going on in the Russell camp, but come on, Gary, bro. We're missing a lot of your legacy. I want you to take these fights, man. Look, we all know that this is a risk. We all know. I tell my son every day. We know what we signed up for. Whether we're not getting the money or whether that's just like we go to work every day and we feel so that things are unfair. I think that if you're trying to solidify your legacy, be willing to take some of those fights, man. I think that you taking some of those fights it will stamp your legacy in a sense. And I'm just speaking to you as a brother. We've been knowing each other for a long time, but just as a fan too, we need to see these fights, man. If you're offered these fights, I know you feel like you're worth more, and I'm not saying that you're not, and you are. But until that you can get more, you have to stamp that by taking some of these fights. So, if you hear this, and I'm pretty sure you will, man, just come on, take a few of those fights, bro. Take a few of those fights. I mean, how long do you have? And I don't want to wait, and you shouldn't want to wait. Take these fights, bro. Take these fights, and I'm pretty sure it will guarantee your payday or what you're worth coming up soon.
so you thought this was a big opportunity missed by him?
I do.
Yeah, I feel like both. I feel like the Devin Haney fight and the Josh Warrington fight. I feel like if he'd have took both of those fights, he would be able to say more than what he can say now.
Yeah.
Now, I think with a lot of people, with some of these fighters, and a lot of people missing out. I think a lot of these fighters need to be more active, and they need to be, if not, be in the gym a lot more because these layoffs is hurting these fighters. Because Josh Warrington looked like dry. I mean, he looked dry as a bone from round one. Like he was coming up, like going through the motions. But the other dude was much sharper, was much crisper, and you could see the writing on the wall. It was like, yo, if he even make it out this fight, he lucky, and he didn't. Because
Wow.
Curry fought him clean. He cleaned his clock, man. He cleaned his clock. You know what I'm saying? So this dude, her law, is a new star in town.
Yeah, look, I didn't
No, I can't say that.
I didn't even see the fight, but somebody told me earlier, and the first thing that came, I was like, dang, I felt so bad because I'm like, dang, I just thought, man, how that was a missed opportunity for G. I was like, man, he could have been that dude to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? And got a quick meal real quick, man. He could have did that. And I'm like,
sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's the principle. Like a lot of times these guys, we're looking for money, but I get this is probably what Tiafimo was saying. It's the principle of everything. To call out what you want, you have to stand for something, and you have to let them know. I mean, man, he could have. Man, it's hard to say. I can't wait to get back to the Russell camp just to chop it up with these guys and just to see what they're thinking, and it'll give us a way forward to go for. I think we need to go back over there to try to rekindle the relationship and get some more interviews because the Russells have torn up social media over the COVID pandemic. So I would like to get back over there just to see what they're saying and just to see what's going on over there.
And just to see their side and what they view on
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? See where they really stand, because they got a side too. And
Of course.
it's definitely a reason
Hey,
why
we can take the podcast to Enigma, Jim. We can take the podcast to Enigma. We travel. We travel. Let's get it in. Let's get it in, man. Spend the day.
Sure, I'll I can stand back and let y'all go ahead over there. I'm pretty sure they before it's time, they'll every time I go over in the gym, they always asking me, hey man, where's your brother? Where's your brother? So it'd be nice for you to go over there, rekindle that relationship with them, and and I'm pretty sure they would love talking to you. I'm pretty sure they will all have something to say. They're very charismatic guys, and I look forward to that in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, But yeah, Josh Watson got steamrolled this weekend, man, and that kind of shifted that whole situation all over. So it looked like the winner of Carl Frampton and Jamal Harrington is going to be headed to Shakur Stevenson now because that Josh Warrington fight, that ship has sailed now. You know.
Man, you know what? I think Shakur Stevenson should step up in the 135 weight class. I think that 130 weight class is just is yeah. I mean, I think it's time for him to step up. I mean, it's not for me to say, but he needs to step up in that mix with Tank and the rest of those guys. I don't know why he's exercising the 130. It just doesn't just feel right him being there. So I mean, and this guy just won a title at 126. So I'm calling out 10 pounds more for him, but I just think he needs to be in that 135 conversation with those guys.
I think he should fight the winner of Carl Frampton and Jamal Hearn, then go up. I like where he's at right now. I want to see.
Yeah, true, but I mean, to be honest, as fighting fans, nobody wants to see that. Yeah, what? Nobody wants to see that.
Oh, you think it's an easy fight?
Huh?
You think?
I mean, just for the magnitude of who Shakur Stevenson is. Come on, man, go to 135. Nobody wants to watch that 130 stuff that's going on right now. I mean, that's a boring weight class right now.
I want you to stamp what you're saying. Are you saying that's an easy fight?
For who?
Shakur.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, even though they probably him and Jamel Hearns probably had a lot of sparring sessions together, but I still think that's an easy fight. And Carl Frampton, I mean, come on, man. Listen. Let's talk about 135. 130's boring, man. 130's boring. 130's boring, man. Let's go to 135. Let's go to 147. Let's go to 168. 130's boring, man.
Because the happened at 135 was Ryan Garcia at Fortuna was supposed to be Devin Haney's mandatory, but
man, listen.
Fortuna.
Hey, Fortuna's a boogeyman, Joe. Listen, Fortuna's a boogeyman. Listen, I don't care what they say. Fortuna is a boogeyman. Fortuna brings the fight. Like I said, there's a couple of fights. Fortuna might have.
Fortuna is the big tall dude, right?
No. He's a Cuban.
Oh,
okay. He's the one that he practically basically beat Bunny, but they called it a draw or something.
Oh, okay, all right.
But Ryan Garcia is fighting him. Ryan Garcia is fighting him. His next fight is Javier Fortuna versus Ryan Garcia. So what you think?
I'll take Javier over that.
No, man, stop.
I'll take Javier.
Hey, baby.
Okay. Listen, let me say this.
That fight is set?
No, I don't think it's set. Let's say the only way Ryan Garcia and you can quote me on this later. The only way Ryan Garcia beats Javier is if he knock him out. If he don't knock Javier out, Ryan Garcia is in for a hell of a night. He's in for a hell of a night. I promise you. He's in for a hell of a night that to me, he's getting ready to write a check that he can't cash. And I never call anybody out and I never say, anything out of the way, but I just think he's too much grass for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is definitely not ready for a caliber fighter that Javier Fortuna is. So if he can't knock Javier, if he can't knock Javier out with those wild and ferocious hooks he throw, he's in for a hell of a night. I'm a Fortuna fan, man. I like Fortuna. Fortuna's he's a tough comrade, bro.
Was that Devin Haney and Jorge Linares was for real fight?
I listen, it's all speculation.
Hey, look. Now to me, and that's my dude right there, Linares. That's too much grass for Devin Haney right now. Come on, Carlton. Come on, man. That's too much grass for Devin Haney right now.
Yeah,
man.
I agree.
I
agree.
Grass,
You know what? Here it is. We definitely gonna watch these fights close up together, and I'm telling you right now, I got Devin Haney stopping Linares. I said it.
You crazy.
Okay.
You crazy.
Hold me to it. He's stopping Linares.
You crazy.
He's stopping Linares.
You crazy.
Huh?
Crazy.
Huh? Huh?
You crazy.
He's stopping him.
No way.
He's gonna stop him.
No way in the world.
Man. Hey, man.
Y'all gonna stop.
Hey,
Listen, I
hey,
don't know
I
what
call it. I call it the real Lenores. If the real Lenores show up, man, with
Devin
all
Haney
the,
in trouble.
he's in trouble, man.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
If the real Lenores shows up, he's in trouble, man.
I'm going with Devin Haney all the way.
Man, you
Stopping
crazy,
that man.
man.
I'm going Devin Haney all the way on that one.
Crazy. That
No way in the world, no way in the world. No way.
First of all, Lenore's resume and the fights that the caliber of fights that he done been in. Come on, Devin Haney ain't even touched that yet.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just looking at.
Lenores is very tested. He's
He is.
very tested.
He is. But his boxing skills is limited. Just because you throw a whole lot of
limited? Did you use the word limited?
Let me explain. Just because you throw a whole lot of punches, don't mean you shot.
What?
I said it.
Yo, please, you need to please go watch some Jorge Linares on YouTube. There's nothing limited about his skill level, bro. There's nothing limited about his skill level.
You use the word limited about his skill set?
He's one of the most skillful fighters in the game, bro.
I better get washed. I better get washed.
You tripping.
I better get washed.
Tripping.
And when it happened, all I wanted to say, just like if you right, I'm gonna tell you right. When he get washed, don't tell me he's getting washed. He's getting washed. Devin Haney ain't losing that fight. Devin Haney gonna come close to losing that fight.
Devin Haney's skill level don't even compare to Linares.
Don't even compare to Linares. It don't even.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
It don't even compare to Linares.
Are you saying Linares is more skilled than Devin Haney?
Yes.
I'm saying that Linares is more skilled than a lot of fighters in boxing.
Yeah, a lot of fighters.
The only thing is, this is what Linares has done. Linares hasn't mastered the skill of exerting when and where. I think a lot of times that he wastes a lot of, or he hyperventilates in certain rounds that hinders him from continuing on, or maybe he's gotten hit. And I'm saying this because I spent many years sparring, and I know that you can exert yourself in certain rounds that you can't continue in the next round. So that when he fought Antonio DeMarco,
I was coming to that fight.
Linares, okay, well, who was winning the whole fight? Linares. Linares hit him with the most slickest uppercuts that I've ever seen in the game.
Yeah, he outclassed.
He basically just tired out in there. He just basically tired out. Maybe not being in shape, but I mean, you talking about he hit him, man. If you go back, he hit him with the most vicious uppercuts. And the guy was throwing. He actually hit him uppercuts while the guy was throwing jabs. He threw jabs. He was slicker on the man. Outside of, and you know, my number one fighter as far as skill level is Loma, is Rigondeaux. 2, as far as skill level, is Linares, man. Linares is skilled, man.
Hey, look, listen to me. Since the DeMarco fight, though,
he lost 2 fights under
that. He hasn't fought like that since then. But what we trying to tell you, Carlton, is that he has a lot in his arsenal. And if the real Linares can somehow put that together again and give me what I saw in that DeMarco fight and maybe a few other fights, you know what I'm saying? But I know since then he hasn't fought a complete fight like that one. And the only thing he went wrong in the DeMarco fight is fatigue.
I'm standing by what I say. I stand on what I say. By the 9th round,
you know, so that, I mean, that's the interesting thing. Hey, that's the interesting thing about boxing. That's what makes it so interesting. You know, I would like to see that fight. You know, because I guess we can continue this conversation. I just think that Linares is just getting old. He's getting older, and you know, just because of certain things that he has faded away. But as far as skill level, Devin Haney's my man too. Devin Haney ain't on his level.
Look, that goes to say, like, you know who Linares is that I can kind of relate Linares to, but he might have he's fought some guys. I'll say, yeah, he fought some guys. Maybe not as many as Linares. Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri is that's a sharp fighter for real, but he can't put it all together. I haven't seen him. The last great fight Chris Algieri gave us was Amir Khan. Since then, he hasn't been able to put it together like that since then, but he has a lot in his arsenal for me to sit here and say, man, he is not as bad as what people might think he is.
Who ever thought Chris Algieri was bad?
Though? A lot of people don't. I mean,
he
pretty much got dusted up by Earl. He got dusted up by Pacquiao. He got dusted up right after that Amir Khan fight. I mean, his boxing career kind of plummeted a little bit.
Well, he's been training. He's been training a lot of fighters. Like he's been a nutritionist for fighters.
Yeah, he's a nutritionist.
Yeah, I know that. So you think he's been more concentrated on that than just?
It all depends on what they're paying him. You know what I mean?
That's true.
If he feel he's getting his fix from that, he actually had a comeback fight on the Zone not too long ago. So he looked pretty good. So I don't know. He might be still around, floating around. You know what I mean?
I think I do. I'm impressed with his skill set as a fighter. He has a lot in his arsenal that a lot of
definitely to be a white boy.
Yeah, he has a lot in his arsenal.
Yeah.
Any questions out there?
Not lately. You know what I mean? I'm on it, baby. I'm on it. I'm watching.
You got. What was the last topic?
Well, okay. What another topic we kind of glossed over but touched a little bit was the status of Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia pretty much said he'll fight anybody at 147 at this point. But 147 is wide open right now because everybody. Okay, first we got to see what Pacquiao gonna do. Once Pacquiao makes his mind up, it might be Mikey Garcia. You know what I mean? Pacquiao might end up fighting Mikey Garcia. But right now, we got to figure out what he's going to do. Then Earl comes next. And then what Terrence going to do. See, once them fights get made, we're not going to get the major fights we want now. But we got to get these keep busy fights out the way.
Man, this is a boring process, man.
Mike's boring to me, man.
Huh?
Mike's boring to me.
I think Mike's a good fight for anybody up there but Earl.
I don't. I mean, if you put him in a guy that's similar style that he is, then maybe you're gonna get an action-packed fight. But like he's just boring. He don't do. I don't know. His super basic it bores me to death. Like he's so super basic. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I give him his credit. He's a decent fighter. He's just boring. He don't do nothing for me, man. It's just boring, man. I really don't want to see him in that equation of fighters. Like I don't want to see none of them fight him. I don't want to see Terrence fight him. I don't want Terrence to waste his time fighting.
I ain't going. That is not a waste of time. But there you're wrong.
No, you have to understand the market that
right now,
Mikey Garcia brings with him.
I do, but I'm just saying, far speaking as
that's why they entertaining it.
Watch the fight. I don't want to. I know that fight will bring some money because it's Mikey Garcia. I get that, but I really don't want to see that fight.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Because Terrence gonna whoop him easy.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna say this right now. I got Mikey Garcia possibly even beating Keith Thurman or Ugas right now.
Of course. Look at the.
No, he ain't beating Keith Thurman.
He ain't beating Keith Thurman, but he definitely gonna beat Ugas. Your man, Ugas.
Hold on. You don't think Mikey Garcia can beat Keith Thurman? You don't think Mikey Garcia?
Look. I don't think he gonna beat Keith Thurman either. I think he might do it might be a close fight because Keith Thurman just the rust factor, but I still think Keith Thurman can win it. But Ugas, he gonna tear Ugas a whole nother. Man, he gonna tear nother ass. He gonna whoop Ugas ass. Hey, everybody in that 147 division whoop Ugas ass. Hey.
How did Ugas get a belt, man?
He earned it.
He earned
it. Who he fight? Boo Boo Fool?
He got robbed against Sean.
Oh my gosh, that's the only person you name, man.
That's the title fight.
You earned it because he put up a good performance.
And what about Figueroa?
Against another wild fighter.
What about Omar Figueroa? I mean, listen.
Man, see, I hate this conversation. You know why? 147, man, they need to get it on. They just Super 6, man. Come on, let's take 8 fighters and throw the Super 6.
Hold on. No, we're going to establish something right now because we're going to come back to this video too. And I'm going to say this right now. I got Devin Haney, Washington, Lenoir, and I got Mikey Garcia. Listen. I got Mikey Garcia beating Keith Thurman right now. Now. I stand by that.
Not.
Okay, we're going to see. I got Mikey Garcia busting. I got Mikey busting.
Yeah, I hate to see Mikey Garcia fight, bro. He is so boring.
He's boring, bro.
All fighters out there, why you got a problem with Mikey though?
It's not that we got
I don't have a problem with him. It's just boring to see. It's not worth seeing.
He's so basic, man. Like it's just he boring, man. I don't.
Not saying that basic can't be effective. It's just
it can't. It can be effective, but it's just boring. Yeah, I mean, he's a good fighter though. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's just boring, yeah.
All right.
There was one more point that we had talked about.
We did Teofimo. We talked about Loma's comeback. We talked about Andre Ward, and we talked about packing the 40 million. That's what we had on top. And then we talked about Josh Warrington's upset. You know what I mean? Unless it's something that's hot out there that you really want to touch. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. I think we need to we need to go see the Russells, man. We need to
to-do list then.
Take time out to go see them and really see what's going on and see if we can help them promote some bigger and better fights. I would like to see Antonio. I think he fought a valiant guy the last time he fought. It was a tough fight, ended in a technical decision. I would like to see him fight for a title fight coming soon. There's enough Russells for us to, get it going. We all talk about Gary all the time, but there's some young lions in that gym that they're not talking about that I think they're avoided fighters too. So we talk about Boots in his last time, and his rival is Antoine Russell, whether you know it or not. As far as in the amateurs, that was his rival. Boots Antoine edged him out in the Olympic trials to go to the Olympics. So there's a lot of Russells out there to talk about. There's 2 more to talk about that I would like to see. Definitely would like to see Antonio get his title shot. I think just for me knowing the young kid and how long he's been around, he's worth getting that. I don't know why they don't shop them 2 out enough. It's just sad to see that no one talks about them. They're not in the limelight, or they're just being looked over. And then he called out Bunny, but no one answered that call. So he's calling out ones at 140. I think he needs to step up there. And I don't think he'll fight Teofimo. Him and Teofimo are good friends.
They're how decorated they are. It ain't like though nobody know them.
Yeah,
So don't know that they out.
Yeah, him and Teofimo are good friends. So I don't see him and Teofimo fighting each other. I would like to see him step up in 140 and fight maybe call out a Maurice Hook or something. I think
147. He about to get knocked out by Virgil Ortiz.
Virgil Ortiz. Maurice Hook is at 140. He went up to 147.
Hooker is at 147. He's about to fight Virgil Ortiz. Yes. Him and Regis moved up. Him and Regis went to 147.
Regis went to 147 too?
Yes, they both at 147.
Regis was just calling out Broner at 140.
Nah, bro, I don't know what they're doing with Broner.
Broner's at 140.
On fight this weekend, but nah. When we put it at 147, he fight Virgil Ortiz.
Oh, the Broner fight
Virgil Ortiz is going to beat that.
Huh?
The Broner fight
Virgil
is this weekend, right?
Yeah, it's this weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
Virgil Ortiz will probably beat more. He'll probably edge Maurice Hook out. Well, let's not talk about the fight that's coming up this weekend along on the Zone, the Burchett and Valdez,
Okay.
Burchett, the Mexican battle. So that's huge. It's probably gonna take away some of the Broner
He gonna
hype.
get his views. Broner gonna get his views.
Yeah, he's gonna get it.
He
He's
gonna
gonna
get
get
his
it.
views.
My son was asking me, Dad, what do you think Broner's gonna do? I think this sport is missing Adrian Broner. I just hope that he comes out with a good showing, and I hope to see him, do something. I don't want to see him at 147. I just think that weight class is probably a little bit too much for him. But he can be king at 140, and I don't see him probably going down at 135 fighting those younger guys. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he does going forward.
But they'll tune in. He'll get his views. That's one thing about him. He's one of the people that no matter what he do, people still want to see him. People still want to be around him.
Yeah, so I'm glad that Floyd Mayweather fight didn't happen. It was supposed to happen on the 20th. And I was wondering like how was they gonna, mash all that together with the Burchett fight and Floyd Mayweather along with Adrian Broner. That would have been a hell of a night of boxing. But yeah, I'm just so glad that fight was postponed, or I hope it just don't materialize.
Yeah, I think they backed off that for now, and I hope they find something else to do with their
That's
time.
good. That's good. Floyd.
All right, man. Any last words before we part out this way, man? What you got?
Man, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna be in tune to that Broner this weekend, man. I'm curious to see what he gonna look like. I kind of, looked at the fighter that he was fighting, and hopefully, it might not be as easy as a fight. You know what I mean? Dude looked kind of like he got a little something with him, so it's gonna be an interesting fight, man. I'm curious to see. I hope Broner can get his hands raised at the end. So that's kind of where I'm dialed in this weekend. I'm definitely gonna be dialed in to check that fight out to see, the Broner come back, man.
Man, just I'm gonna keep saying what I've been saying. We as people, the power is in the people, man. So I think the perception of the people, as far as in boxing, we are the ones that command the fights. We can't no longer just decide to say, we support these guys. If we support them, let's support them. Right now, because of the pandemic, we're not able to go to the fights, but let's support them by buying the pay-per-views or doing what we have to do to make these fights happen. I think that we're not understanding that these fights aren't happening because the market is not out there, or these fighters are not. They don't have a large market base which can command the fights. Canelo can fight whoever he wants because he knows that he has 30,000 plus people tuning in that's behind him. The power in the numbers. So if we continue to support our fighters, and I think every podcast that I'm on, this is going to be how I end, or this is going to be how I begin. I'm gonna always preach that. I would spend my last dollar just because this is my sport. I'm a student of the game, and I will always say, if we want to see certain fights, that we have to pay to see these fighters fight, or we got to put our money where our mouth is. Definitely. And I would say it again: if a Mexican fighter fights, if Canelo's gonna fight, his fans are coming out.
Fact.
And we are powerful people. We can change the game for a number of fighters. Gary Russell, Tank Davis. I mean, the numbers are coming out for Tank Davis. Numbers are coming out for Terrence Crawford. Let's make these fights happen. Let's support these fighters. These fighters need us, and we need them. So that's I'm looking forward to 2021 and hoping that something materializes. A lot of fights that we were planning on happening are just we're seeing them just kind of like disappear. I was so sad to see what Teofimo said, and I was hoping that maybe 21, maybe in the latter part of 21, he was going to call out Garcia or Tank or maybe Devin Haney. But looks like right now we're waiting for the Benavidez Charlo, and I think definitely the Anthony Joshua and Fury. So the heavyweights are rocking, and so we'll see. I guess we just have to wait, as the week go on and see what progresses, and I guess we'll continue again next Monday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
one more time, and then I'm gonna hold y'all to this. I'm gonna stay it one more time. Devin Haney gonna wash and stop the Norris, and I got Mikey Garcia beating Keith Thurman right now.
Hold on, you missing one. Javier Fortuna.
Oh, I would love to see Fortuna win that fight. I like Fortuna, so I would love to see him beat Brian Garcia.
Tough
But I didn't say-
fighter, man.
I like
Tough.
Fortuna, man. I like Fortuna.
Listen, I wouldn't want to fight Fortuna myself, man. Man, listen, last time I seen Fortuna fight, I'm like, man, this joker tough as nails, bro.
Yeah, he done been there. Listen, he done been in there. He's been in there with some fighters. So Ryan Garcia lay around and play with him. It could get shaky. It could get shaky. I like that.
That's a gutsy call on Golden Boy too. That's a gutsy call.
But you gotta look at it then. Apparently, they think this is the lighter road because he's supposed to fight Devin Haney or the NORAD. He picked Fortuna. So apparently they think that's the lighter road to go.
Good luck.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, good luck.
All right,
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
I get that, y'all, boy.
All right.
All right, man. Have a good one. Appreciate it. All right.